Hey there, and welcome to this rapidMATION demo. Today we're going to be talking about inbound email communications. And the problem we often see at companies that we work with is that companies can often receive hundreds, if not thousands, of inbound email communications every single day. And what this means is that there's a huge amount of human time needed to review these emails, classify them, and then action them. So in order to solve this problem, rapidMATION has created a solution called rapidMATION Triagr. What rapidMATION Triagr allows us to do is it allows us to analyze and classify every email and then automate where it makes the most sense. So what I mean by that is Triagr will automatically analyze an incoming email and it will sort it into one of your custom categories. It will review the tone or sentiment of the email and it will provide a summarized description of that specific email's contents. And once you've been able to analyze and classify those emails, you can analyze the categories and you can automate where it makes the most sense. Now, some of the most common categories that we see across companies that we work with is generally emails fit into one or more of these categories. Those could be billing and account inquiries, it could be complaints or feedback, just general inquiries, product information requests, or even technical support inquiries. Now, the beauty about rapidMATION Triagr is it's your categories your way. So in this demo, I've used those categories to classify emails into, but really the beauty about Triagr is it allows you to classify emails in the custom categories that your company has. Now, the first thing that we do is we set up our automation to monitor a specific email inbox folder. And what that means is as soon as a new email arrives into this folder, what we can do is we can start picking up on those incoming emails. Now, the best part about Triagr is we simply configure it to point at a specific email inbox folder and we turn it on and it automatically starts analyzing and classifying emails. Now, the beauty about this is there's absolutely zero pre-work needed. And what I mean by that is it just works. So generally, if we had to solve this problem using some other technology out there today, you would need to create a pretty specific machine learning model that contained hundreds, if not thousands, of different samples of your emails and categorized and labeled up so that this machine learning model knows how to interpret your emails. Now, using rapidMATION Triagr, there's absolutely no pre-work needed, and there's no need to spend hours, days, weeks, or months classifying emails into the categories that are needed. You just simply turn it on and you start getting value immediately. Let's have a look at what it looks like in action. So here's an email that's come into the Triagr folder inside this email inbox. And what we can see is it's a pretty standard email. And inside this email is a number of different pieces of contents. So if we open up this email and we look into it, the first thing that we'll notice is at the top of the email, there's actually an email header. And this contains details on that might have been tagged onto it from the Exchange server to notify the user that they need to be a little bit careful on this specific email. And down the bottom of this specific email, you'll see there's an email signature, and it's a pretty simple one in this case. And there's also an email footer that says, please consider the environment before printing this email. Now, when we look at the contents of this email, before we send it for categorization, what we need to do is we need to do some cleanup on this email. So the first thing that rapidMATION Triagr does is it looks at this email thread and it gets the latest thread of the email. So generally a thread, an email thread can contain multiple different kind of replies and forwards and the like. And what we're doing here is rapidMATION Triagr goes away and it gets the latest thread. In addition to that, we've built in some functionality that we call the email cleanser. And what we can do is we can remove any bits of text that might disturb or disrupt our classification. So in this case, what we might do is we might kind of put in this block of text into the email cleansing module, which means that rapidMATION Triagr will automatically remove any text that matches this kind of text block when it comes in. Now, you can use piece of text, you can use regular expressions, you can use a variety of different things to clean up the contents of any emails. The next thing that we've got the ability to remove any email signatures, and this could automatically pick up and identify what the email signature is or any email footer information, like in this case, please consider the environment before printing this email. And really why we're doing this is we want to remove any email noise. And what we want to land up with is a beautiful, clean kind of email body that we can then go through and classify and analyze. Now, the power of this is we use some large language models to go through and classify this specific text. And what it does is it gives us back one of your custom categories that you've given us. So what we'll do is we'll get back this custom category. And what we'll do then is we'll automatically go through and via automation, we'll file your email into that specific category. So if we look at this email, we can see that it's moved out of the Triagr kind of email folder. It's moved across to the billing and account inquiry email inbox folder. And what we can see here is that it is sitting there waiting for someone to go through and action it. So now, instead of people spending a huge amount of time monitoring that email inbox and then filing and classifying away emails into certain folders for people to go and do some work, this has all automatically been taken care of for us. Now, the beautiful thing that we've built into rapidMATION Triagr is we've created a little Outlook add-in that allows us to go through and see exactly how this email has been classified. So here I simply come down to the Outlook add-ins, I select rapidMATION Triagr, and what this does is this opens an Outlook add-in for me. And what I can see here is that I can see the classification that this email has been given. So I can see that it's automatically being classified into the category billing and accounts inquiry, and that's why it's been moved to this specific folder. It's also done some sentiment or tone analysis on this specific email. And in this case, we've gone through and it said that the tone of the email is polite. And then what it's done, it's created me a one-liner description of exactly what this email is about, which is really, really handy when we go through and analyze these different email communications. Now, the first thing that many people ask us is, okay, great. It's great that this all happens automatically, but what happens if the classification is incorrect and this large language model has got the classification incorrect? Well, what we've done is we've built in a feature that we call override. And what override allows us to do is it allows us to update the classification of the email, and the user can create one or more rules to reclassify this email based off of things like the email address, the subject, the attachment name, or it could even go and actually open up the attachment contents, go through and perform some OCR on that attachment contents and classify it based off of that. So in this example, we can see that there's an email that's come into the general inquiry folder. We can see that it's come in here, and on the right hand side, Triagr is telling us that it's being classified as a general inquiry. The tone is informative, and the sender is providing kind of some contact information, because if we look at this email, we can see that there's actually no body of the email other than the header and footer information that this user has kind of included. So what would happen in this scenario is our email cleanser probably would have kicked in, it would have removed the header information, and it would have removed the email signature, which means that perhaps there's very little information that we can use to try and go and classify this email. So by using an override, what we can do is we can either go and say, all right, well, if I receive an email from this user, Bruce Brown, and whatever their email address might be, I would like to go through and classify this email slightly differently and route it to a certain classification. Or alternatively, what I might like to do is look into the subject and pick up one or more words and match on those words and then reclassify that email based off of the email subject. Sometimes the clue is in the attachment name. So we've also built in the functionality where we can go look at the different attachments and we can go through and pick up one or more words in the attachment name and then reclassify based off of this. Or alternatively, we can actually go through and we can classify based off of the attachment contents. And what this means is we can actually go and send the attachment off to a nice OCR service where we can figure out exactly what this document is and then route it according to the classification that we get back from this OCR service. Now, how you do that is simply in the Outlook add-in, you can go through and you can flick the switch to enable the override, and you can then select which overrides you might like to include. So you can do it based off of email address, subject, the attachment name, or even off the attachment contents. So if we look a little closer at this, in this example, perhaps what I want to do is I want to say any email that comes in from Bruce Brown, I want to go see if it has an attachment. And in this case, I've just looked in the attachment name for the word invoice. And if we find the word invoice in the attachment name, what I'd rather do is would like to send that to a billing and account inquiry. Now, as you would have remembered, this came in as a general inquiry. So now if I enable this override and I save it up, what this means is the next time an email that comes in, the first thing that we do is we go through and we check the override rules. And if we match one or more of those override rules, we'll automatically go and classify based off of that override. If not, and we don't match any override rules, we'll go down the standard path and automatically go and classify that email for you and move it to the appropriate folder. It all just works from day one. Turn it on and start getting value straight away. Now, the best thing that happens is over time, we build up some beautiful reports on what is actually happening inside your email communications. So in this example, you can see there's a number of different kind of categories that we can go look at and see any emails that come in over any certain day, week, month, or year, what kind of categories and what these emails are actually being categorized as. And this can show us where we have a big load of emails coming in, because we might want to use that data to then go through and see which part of these incoming emails we can go and automate and remove that tedious, mundane, repetitive task from a human to free them up to do higher value work. Now, another view we might want to look at is we might want to go see, okay, let's go look at the tone of these emails. And perhaps what we want to do is we want to go see where customers seem to be fairly frustrated, which categories those emails fall in, because that might allow us to then go through and prioritize that automation first. So rapidMATION Triagr is really a beautiful tool that allows you to go through and analyze and classify emails straight off the bat, and then you can go delve into the reports and you can see where you might want to go through and automate one or more of those paths. And really what we've seen is the automation opportunities are endless in terms of what we might be able to automate behind these incoming email communications. So if that looks great and you want to get started, well, how do you get started? Well, very simply drop us an email at hello@rapidMATION, and that's MATION as in automation.com, and we'll reach out to you and we'll get you started on your intelligent automation journey. Now, many people will want to know, well, hey, how do you build this amazing technology? Well, this technology is built by rapidMATION. So rapidMATION Triagr is a rapidMATION solution, but it's powered by OpenAI and the Microsoft platform. And what this means is that we have all of the beautiful data and security and privacy that Azure OpenAI gives us, and we can use this to make sure that we can deliver some automations that deliver beyond expectation for our customers. If you want to get in touch, simply drop me an email, give me a call. Happy to chat anytime. Look forward to speaking to you soon.